Good morning, sunshines. The sunshine is not yet up where I am. It's thinking about it. It's making its way. It is Monday, the 4th of January, 2021. I am Heather, known as BunniPhish on Instagram, Patreon, and YouTube. And this is BunniPhish Crafts, which has gone through many iterations. But right now, it's kind of a weekly jumble vlog thing. So, I am getting ready to teach my class virtually. I'm a special ed paraprofessional. So yeah, we're back from break, and I have to admit I'm feeling a little anxious about it. Teaching virtually is not my favorite. I feel much more anxious about teaching my kids virtually than the fact that we're going back in person 5 days a week next week. That doesn't stress me out, even though we're in the middle of a pandemic. Yeah. Virtual learning is not working for me. It's not my favorite, but you know, it's necessary, and if we have to switch back, which I think we probably will, it'll be okay. I'll pivot. I'll be able to do it. Anyway, I just wanted to hop in to wish you a good beginning of the week, I hope, and I will check in later with crafty things or reading things. We'll see. So I had a moment of blah this morning. My daughter dropped my bowl, my very special bowl that we only had one of. That is my favorite thing to eat out of because eating disorders are special and weird, but she broke my bowl. It was on the drying rack and she knocked it over and it hit the ground in just the perfect way to crack. So I had to use not my bowl for breakfast.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mar.
My meeting's not over. I'm just going to show everyone my Fin Fun Mermaid tail.
Okay.
I'm going to enjoy playing with it in the summer.
Yep. Awesome.
Yep. I love it.
I love you. Even though you broke my bowl this morning. It's fine. It's fine. Sometime in the future, when I'm okay going out to stores for random things, I will just go buy myself a new one that came from Five Below. Maybe next time I'm in Meijer, I'll see if they have something similar. But I don't go to the store very often because my boyfriend works at a grocery store. So he does pretty much all of our grocery shopping. That way I don't have to go in stores. It's okay. It's just a bowl. We have other bowls. We got new bowls from my sister that are lovely, but they're not my bowl. But today's going to be a good day. I'm declaring it right now. I'm having a good day. I'm going to see my students and it's going to be great. My sister gave me this box of popcorn. She got it for Christmas, but she is not the type of person to have any patience for anything like popping popcorn on the stove. So yesterday we enjoyed this crimson popcorn with salted caramel, and I think today we're going to try it with bacon cheddar. Can't really see what's going on here, but I started a Tunisian crochet square this morning, and I don't have Tunisian crochet hooks, so I'm doing Tunisian crochet with my regular hook, which means all of those stitches gets bunched up on my hook. Seems to be working fine. Also, you can't see that there are cables running through here, but there are. And in Tunisian crochet, you use a crow hook to do the cables, which is like a crochet hook that tapers down to a knitting needle point. I don't have one of those, so I'm just using a second hook in the same size to make those. Hopefully it all works okay. This is my first time doing Tunisian crochet, so hence I don't have tools for it. And I didn't want to wait until I went to work tomorrow to pick up appropriate tools for Tunisian crochet. I just wanted to start the square today. I also worked on today these two socks. So this is, the pattern is called Partying It Up, Getting Down by Megan Williams. This is the getting down version because the arrow on the leg points down. And I did that much today. I suspect that these two projects will get we'll get a decent amount of work done tomorrow. We have a staff PD day at the school tomorrow. We have a lot of meetings tomorrow, which means we have a lot of meeting knitting. So this sock is Mystic Spiral by Josh Ricks. I am right here. That's where I'm going to put my heel. I'm going to do an afterthought heel, which is not what the pattern calls for, but that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to do 7 regular stripes in between the next section of the spiral, which should give me, so I'll do 2 more stripes, and then I'm going to do the spiral section, and then I'm going to do 1 stripe and then ribbing. So this sock is about halfway done minus the heel. And this sock is getting pretty close to the heel. I'm also going to do an afterthought heel on this sock, but I have this much to go before I put in the stitch marker for my heel. Good morning, sunshines. It is Thursday, the 7th of January, and I didn't record my progress from yesterday because there was a riot in the capital of the United States because 45 decided he needed to throw a temper tantrum and send his minions to do destruction. So here I am with my progress. Here is the shawl that I ripped out. I am back to where I was when I ripped, and I'm ready to start the next section. This shawl is Aria by Amba O'Brien. The yarn that I'm using is Barocco Providence. I made a lot of sock progress yesterday because of meetings, because yesterday was staff professional development at school, so I was in meetings all morning before I went to the yarn shop, and I was knitting mostly, I think, on this sock, and I accidentally knit an extra stripe further than I had wanted to before starting the next section. It's fine, it doesn't really matter, it's just not what my intention was, but it's fine. So I will be starting this sort of pattern again on the leg of the sock, this bias section, today. And then once I realized that I had accidentally knit too far, I pulled out this project instead. This is the Partying It Up and Getting Down sock pattern by Megan Williams. This yarn is for the Mystic Spiral by Josh Ricks, is 716 knit, and the yarn for Partying It Up and Getting Down is Little Bay Blue. So lots of progress, not quite to the heel. I have 2 rounds to go before I put in my marker for the heel, and then I will work down the foot of this sock. So yeah, and this sock is past the heel, and I just noticed when I pulled this out that I dropped a stitch, and then I made the stitch in a yarn over, so I'm going to need to fix that before I continue. Also, I have changed up what I'm reading. I don't know if I've talked about what I'm reading at all, actually. I'm reading The Year of the Flood, which is the sequel to Oryx and Crake. I think it's part of a trilogy, actually. So I'm reading that. I am not quite halfway through. And I was going to read that first, but then I looked at my library account and realized that this is due on the 10th. Today is the 7th, and I hadn't started it. So I started it, and I'm probably 25 pages in. So I will be reading this in between meetings today and just generally trying to finish it by the 10th so I can return it and not have late fees. I wanted to read it anyway, but now I have to read it. I think you can see this pretty well. So here's my Tunisian crochet square that I'm doing. And about up to here, I was doing the stitches wrong. And then I realized I was doing them wrong. You can see it better if I hold it up. You can see all the space in here. I realized I was doing them wrong. And I decided that I didn't really care that it was wrong down here. And so I'm just going to do it correctly going forward. Because for this square, done is better than perfect. I think I'm like 2/3 of the way through. So I was about 1/3 of the way through when I realized I was doing stitches wrong. Sorry if you can hear my children in the background. So I'm finishing up this section, this biasing section. It has a short row section, then bias, and then short rows. And somewhere along the way, I made a mistake. And let's see, because I should be ending with just 3 stitches at the end of the short row on this needle. That's clearly not 3 stitches. So somewhere I missed a short row. But because these are for Patrick, and he won't know the difference, I'm not going to fix it. I'm just going to fudge it. In the last 15 seconds, you missed Patrick coming in and being like, oh, now I'm going to know. And then he said, wait, what are you doing? So I explained to him what I was doing, and he was like, oh yeah, I wouldn't be able to tell. So I've done it. Now I'm going to resume working in the round. Good enough. It is Scrappy Sunday, and these are the leftovers from what I managed to work into my scrappy blankets during December. So I have a few magic knot balls. I don't tend to magic knot my ends together because I tend to just put them into my scrappy blankets as is. I guess what I mean to say is I don't take minis like this and turn them into a magic knot ball, but I will take little ends of things, like a few yards, and I don't know if this is a magic ball or not. But you can see that this one, I'll show you this one, only has a couple yards of a color, maybe less than a couple yards, and then the next yarn is knotted in. So I did that during December, and now I'm going to work them into my corner to corner crochet blanket. So these are my colorful ones. These are my neutrals. Did anyone else order from the Fiber Nymph Dye Works New Year's sale? Because I totally did. And I went there on New Year's Day because I watched her podcast the morning of New Year's Day, and she said she was having a sale for 40% off everything. And I was like, oh, I wonder if anything is even still there. And these were, and they were like Miss dyes. They have some speckling where they shouldn't have speckling, which doesn't bother me. So I picked them up, and yes, they are 2 of the exact same things in inversibles, because I have a lot of men to knit for, and some of them prefer manly colors. Patrick will wear whatever I make him, but some of them want like guy colors, and I thought these were good guy colors, so I got them. I also bought some cards, but I will be sending those to friends for the holidays, so I'm not showing those so that they can be a surprise for people. And then she also sent a little thank you for 2020. They're mini skeins. They are the Cozy Base. I think that's her worsted weight. So look how cute they are. I couldn't resist. And yes, this cuts into my ZK budget. I've already recorded it as cutting into my ZK budget, but she's a ZK dyer, so it kind of balances out because I can use them for the knit along. I finished the sock tube for the first Mystic Spiral. I need to cut in the heel. I also need to cast on the second one. I don't think I'm going to do either of those two things today. I'll talk about this in a little bit also, but I'm feeling really like blah this week, as many of us are, so I don't know. I'm just not up to either of those steps right now. Maybe though this evening I will feel differently. It's still pretty early in the day, only about 3:30, so I have a few more hours of crafting planned. But I think what I'm going to do is work on scrappy blankets some more. The minis that I showed you to go into my blanket made just over a row in Patrick's Corner to Corner blanket. So those are in, but I think I'm going to try to knit a couple squares tonight too. I do have to, that sounds like it's not, whatever. I'm going to go, there we go, to my mom's for dinner. So I'm probably not going to take those projects along because the squares that I'm going to be knitting in are, the projects are getting kind of big and cumbersome, so I'm not going to take those. I'm probably going to take my partying it up and getting down sock and work on that at dinner, but I have a little bit of time so I can start a square before I go and then finish it when I get home.
Okay, friends, so it's Sunday night and it's bedtime, so I guess it's time to round up this vlog. I'm sorry that it hasn't been very good this week. I haven't been in headspace to record, which I think is totally normal after witnessing an insurrection at your nation's capital. So, yeah. We'll see what the next week brings. The 20th of January is still pretty far off, so, and even once the 20th hits, I don't think everything's going to be over. But anyway, let's talk about knitting and reading, and I hope that if you have had a week where you can't focus and be as productive as you want, you're giving yourself some grace. So my cable square, which I realize you can't see at all, is going pretty well. I have one more cable repeat, but I break it down. I work half a cable repeat a day, so it's kind of 2 days worth. But I might just go ahead and finish this square tomorrow so that I can take it with me when I teach tomorrow night, and I'm going to block it. You can't block acrylic yarn. This is a wool acrylic blend. You can't block it the same way that you do wool, but I am going to kill the acrylic, so I'm going to take the steamer to it to make it the right size and shape tomorrow at work. I think not at work, at teaching in the evenings, at teaching knitting. So I think that's going to be the plan for that. I have nearly finished my first partying it up and getting down sock. I am at the toe on the first one, and for probably 10 minutes I entertained the idea of actually finishing this toe tonight, but that's not going to happen. I should also say that the stitch markers that you're seeing on these projects, it's not 1 day's worth of progress, which I'm sure you figured that out, but just in case, that's actually 3 days worth of progress because I just haven't had the mental space to update daily. So yeah, that's 3 days worth of progress. This first sock tube should be finished tomorrow. I am very pleased with myself. I have managed to keep up with my northeasterly 1 mini in a day plan. Yay me! So as you can see, some minis are much smaller than others. This one goes from here to here. This one's, you know, a bigger thing. So I try to be mindful when I pick my mini for the day, if I have time to do a bigger mini or not. That way I'm setting myself up for success. All of the ends are knitted in, which is why they end in the middle. I just need to trim them off and use all of the ones that are, you know, probably, I put anything that's like 6 inches or longer into my corner to corner blanket. So this one's too small to make the cut, but this one's long enough. So yeah, I need to trim that at some point in the next few days before it turns into a tangly mess. And lastly, I've made some pretty decent progress on my Aria shawl. Is it supposed to have this line? Now I need to go back and look at the instructions because I feel like maybe it isn't supposed to have that line. But maybe it is. That would be so annoying if I had to rip back all of this progress on this section. How did I just notice this today? Okay. Well, that's a problem for tomorrow. But from here to here is what I've done since Friday, I think. I am at I have made it past the widest portion of the shawl, and now I'm decreasing, but the increases happen more rapidly than the decreases do, which I didn't realize at first. So I got to the part where it started having me decrease, and I was like, what? Because this is supposed to be an 89-inch shawl after blocking. I don't think mine is going to be that large. I did go to Ravelry and do a quick project search, and I did see a few different projects that said that theirs were much shorter, like 70 inches. So that made me feel a little bit better and a little less freaked out. But yeah, I'm to the halfway point in stitch count, but not in row count, so that's cool. This is what it looks like over here. Maybe I can get through, I think this is about a third of the project. Hopefully I can get through the second third in the coming week. Okay, I just double checked. This is totally not right. If this shawl was for me, I would leave it, but it's not. It's a shop sample. So I'm gonna rip out, this is about 22 rows of progress that I'm gonna rip out. It's okay. Obviously, this is not a project where finished is better than perfect. If it was for me, that would be the case, but it's not. So, okay, I guess I will rip that back tonight so that tomorrow or whenever I can start working on it again. Probably not tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be busy. Although I do teach at the shop, so this would be a good thing to bring to the shop. Well, frogging that was a little disheartening. But anyway, I have a finished book this week. Yay, me! 1 of 6. That is my goal for the month. I'm not doing too shabby. I'm hoping that I can finish 2 this week. I'm getting close, but this coming week. But I did finish The Crown of Midnight by Sarah J. Maas, and it's a Throne of Glass novel. It's the second book. It was pretty good. Not my favorite YA epic fantasy book, but good enough that I'm going to pick up the 3rd book in the series sometime later this year. I don't feel like I need to pick it up like now, but maybe February, maybe June, who knows. It's good. It's about an assassin. This is the assassin. Selena, maybe is how you pronounce her name. I don't know. I pronounce her name Selena. But maybe it's Kalena. I would have to listen to it pronounced, and in my head it's Selena. So, if you like YA and you like epic fantasy, this is a pretty good series so far. I look forward to reading the next book eventually. When I finished The Crown of Midnight, I picked up A Queer History of the United States for Young People, read probably 15, 20 pages, and tonight I'm going to read some of Passing by Nella Larson. This is a super short book. So, yeah, you can see 100 pages. This is super short. I just need to read it. I want to read it. I don't know. Having a little block reading it, probably because it was published in forever and ever ago. So there's like the fluidity of the language to contend with. I don't know, I'm getting tired, so that doesn't make sense. Why can't I find the publication date for... There we go. First published in 1929. So, yeah. It's about Black women passing as white women. And there's 3 different women involved. This is what I've gathered from the introduction. There's 3 different women involved. One who passes as white all the time. One who lives as a Black woman full-time, and one who lives as a Black woman at home but then travels for business or goes into the city and passes as white. So it should be really good once I actually get into reading it. Again, I'm only on page 19, so I'm giving the book, it's only 100 pages. Even if I don't like it for the whole 100 pages, it's only 100 pages. But I'm sure that it will hook me in the next, 10 or so pages. I'm hoping it hooks me in the next 10 or so pages. This is really good. Really interesting. A Queer History of the United States for Young People. Highly recommend. Last thing. I don't want anyone to think that I think that what is going on in the world is not important. But for me, right this second, I need to just cope with things and breathe and focus, try to focus on my knitting and stuff so that I can recenter, so that I can continue to have difficult conversations with the people around me and sign petitions and make phone calls and to senators and stuff. Yeah. So that is all my behind the scenes stuff. So all you're seeing is the crafting and the reading. So whatever your public face is, make sure that in private, you're doing what needs to be done. Okay? Okay. Have a good week. I will see you starting tomorrow for me, but in a week for you.